Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah. Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah.
Alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulullah. Welcome to another session of our Hadith class, and we are studying the Hadiths from the book compiled by Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Atli, entitled Once Upon a Time. And if you guys have not yet purchased your book, please go to his website, atlionline.com, and get your copy today. The book is only $2. And now, where can you buy a book with such valuable information as this for only $2? So that's the link, atlionline.com. The name of the book is Once Upon a Time, and that's a picture of the book. Okay, it's available there for all of you to purchase now. And today we're going to go to the Hadith in this book that has a great lesson for us to learn. And the lesson that it teaches us is that Allah is the best witness amongst us. Allah, not only does he witness everything that we say, not only does he witness everything that we do, but there is no other witness better than he. And let's look at the hadith. And the source of this hadith is Sahih Muslim. In other words, you can find this hadith detailed in Sahih Muslim. And it's narrated by Abu Hurairah. He tells us that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam one day shared the following story. He said, Jesus, the son of Mary, he one day saw a man stealing something. So Jesus went to the man and he asked the man, he said, did you just steal something? The man turned and faced Jesus, and he looked Jesus in the eye, and he said, no, I swear by the one besides whom there is no other God that I did not steal this. And even though Jesus saw him take it, Jesus' reply was, well, I believe in Allah. And since I believe in Allah, I disbelieve what my eyes saw. In other words, Jesus accepted the man's word that whatever he took, he was not stealing it. You know, and why did Jesus believe what this man said? He believed the man because the man said, I swear by Allah. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he explained this or told this story to the companions, he told them whenever another Muslim swears by Allah to something, then we must believe what they say. We believe what they say. Okay, we have to put that type of trust and give that type of trust to that person. So if a Muslim says, wallahi, or I swear by Allah that I didn't do something or I did do something, we have to drop it. Because if the person is lying, guess what? He'll have the curse of Allah on him. If the person is telling the truth, then you did a good deed, taking his word for it and letting it go. So this is an incident that happened in the time of Prophet Jesus alayhi salam. But even with Jesus, there's so many lessons for us to learn from him. And he's the one that taught his people that, you know, the eyes can be deceived. You know, that man took something. Perhaps Jesus thought he was stealing, but maybe the man was borrowing it. Or maybe the item belonged to the man. You know, or maybe someone bought the item and had the man fetch it for him. But the bottom line is when a person swears by Allah to something, we accept what that person says and we let it go. Would anyone like to contribute or share their thoughts on this wonderful lesson to be learned? Anyone?
So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me, Layla?
Yes.
Because I'm in the car. That's a beautiful hadith, and that's deep, because you don't know. You're not in that person's body. You don't know what's going on with that person. All looks ain't alike, and you really don't know. That's really deep right there. Alhamdulillah. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, looks can be very deceiving, guys. Well, you may think I stole it, but how do you know that it didn't belong to me? How did you know that I didn't buy it up beforehand? So again, and if another Muslim swears by Allah that what they're telling the truth, you have to accept it. Let it go. Yes, go ahead, Sister Sahara.
I'm very glad that you shared this hadith, because this happens pretty often with me and my siblings. We teach them how to pray, and sometimes some of them don't really pray, but we have them say like, we'd be like, "Did you pray?" And they're like, "Yes," and then they'd be like, "Wallahi, I prayed." So then my older sister, taught us to just let it go. If they said Wallahi, just take their word for it. If they prayed, and if they didn't, that's on them. She was like, "Just let it go," and I'm glad that you brought that up.
Exactly, guys, because if a person says wallahi and they're lying, they have the curse of Allah on them. So you just let it go because you leave that person to themselves. Allah will take care of that person. But if the person is telling the truth, then you would do he or she an injustice by not believing them. Because remember, anyone who declares La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, their blood, their honor, and their property is off limits. That's a person's honor. Rather than call that person a liar, to call a person a liar and you have no proof, then that means you could be destroying or harming that person's honor. So we leave them to Allah. Anyone else would like to share? Go ahead, Zarina.
Yes, I've never heard the story actually. It's amazing. Alhamdulillah. It just reminded me of what you were saying about a person's honor. It also reminded me of one of Allah's names, the All-Seeing. Allah is the only one with the attribute. None of us has the ability to see everything or know, or we're not even all knowing either. So, and it's just a good reminder to stay humble. And if Allah is the best of judges and justice, so it just is very humbling. Alhamdulillah.
Exactly. Thank you for sharing that, Sister Zarina. Anyone else? Yeah, it's a wonderful hadith. And this also gives us some insight into Prophet Jesus. A lot of people who convert to Islam will ask me, Sister Layla, are there any hadiths where the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam spoke about Jesus? Oh, yes, there's many hadiths where the Prophet spoke about his brother Jesus, and this is one of them. This is one of them. There's many other hadiths relating to Jesus and Jesus encounters and Jesus teachings as well. And I want you guys to remember one of the signs of the last hour. Before the last hour comes, Jesus will come back here on earth, but he will not come back as a prophet. He will come back as a leader. He will be the one to establish Islam as the universal religion of the world. And he will be the ruler over the entire world. And he will rule with the Quran, and he will reestablish the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. All right, I'd like to thank everybody for joining and participating in this session of our Hadith class. For those of you listening on Facebook, I want you to remember that tomorrow is Sunday. What does that mean? That means we have the Sunnahfollowers Islam for Kids program beginning at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The children will learn how to read Quran with Tajweed from Sister Summer. So make sure your children are here at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time so they can learn how to read the Quran. She will teach them the Fatiha, the 4 coups, and all of that. So please have your kids here, ages 5 through 18. And then after her at 2, we'll have the Hadith class, and then followed by the Seerah. So make sure you guys are here tomorrow. And also we have our other classes tomorrow too. You will have my class on the angels and my hadith class as well. So thank everybody for joining. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. For those of you on Facebook, I'm closing out. Feel free to join us and hang out with us in the Zoom room, inshallah.